Welcome back to Harbor. Well, the Gingrich versus Romney fight down in Florida is for the nomination, of course, for president. It's revealed a sharp division within the Republican Party across the party. As Politico frames it, it's fanny packs versus Tattersall plaid, monster truck derbies versus the Kentucky Derby, the Tea Party versus the Cocktail Party. Look at these photos, by the way, from the Politico article today. More wealthy and educated crowds show up to support Romney, while less affluent and less educated voters turn out for Newt Romney. Notice how my voice changes there. Jonathan Martin is the senior Politico reporter who wrote this story. What a great story. Tea Party versus Cocktail Party. Wow. Nia Malika Henderson trying to keep up with this verbal genius as Politico reporter for the Washington Post. You start, Jonathan, I am stunned by this. You're the first guy to ever notice this. I remember watching a crowd down in Texas in 2000 rather. I could tell all the pinks and limes were with W. And I said, this crowd's too rich to be reflective of a state. No state's got that many rich people. But you've sized it up in terms of class, if you will.
Yeah. Right. And, Chris, this is something that a lot of Republicans don't like talking about because they have a party, frankly, like Democrats do, too, that has a very odd coalition. They've got the auto mechanics and they have the bond traders and everything in between. So this is a bit of an awkward topic, but it has come to life here in the last few weeks, starting in South Carolina and really on display now in Florida. You go to Romney events and you see folks that represent upper middle class and upper class America. That's who is really into Romney. And it's revealed also, Chris, in the exit polls. Look at these states where Romney does the best. It's among the highest income folks and those with the most education. Conversely, you go to Newt events, you see folks who are wearing jeans, who are wearing big American flag T-shirts, who are carrying Tea Party flags, who are sporting fanny packs even at times. It's a more down-market demographic. We see this oftentimes, Chris, in Democratic primaries. As you know, Hillary and Obama, Gary Hart, Walter Mondale, Bradley and Gore. We've seen it in the past in Democrat primaries. I don't recall a Republican primary where it's been on such vivid display as this year.
And it is the Republican Party. It's what Nixon used to call we used to call at the time of those days, the mink coat party and the cloth coat party.
Right. Yeah. No, that's exactly right. And being at some of these rallies for Newt Gingrich, not only in South Carolina but also in Florida, these are folks in tattoos. They're chanting USA.
And
USA.
they're the Newt people.
Exactly. And I think he's running the same argument against Romney that he is against Obama, which is to say that both of these folks are.
What's his solution to the fact? What's his populism about? Newt's.
Right. I think his populism is about Romney and Obama are not one of us. They're not regular Americans. They don't get the sort of experiences that Newt Gingrich, frankly, experienced when he was.
But doesn't Newt, I don't want to argue the politics here, but doesn't Newt support the same kind of tax breaks for the rich that Romney does?
Yeah, he does. But I think the benefit to him is that Romney embodies that tax bracket much more so than.
Okay, let me ask you, what do the voters want that's different between the class groups, if you will? Jonathan.
Well, Chris, there are no real substantive differences. It's rhetorical. It's Newt who knows how to play the conservative base like a piano because he's been doing it for years. It's very reminiscent of Pat Buchanan talking about New York and Washington elites.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I remember those speeches.
Yeah, Goldman Sachs. He knows all the notes to play. And the fact that he lives in McLean, Virginia, like Pat Buchanan did, not exactly a hotbed of populism, is irrelevant because it's the message that folks are focused on and not necessarily the messenger, who the Romney folks have been reminding us now every day emphatically is a flawed messenger. But the message connects with a lot of working class folks, Chris, in South Carolina and Florida.
Every time he says food stamps or the name Saul Alinsky, which I'm convinced, if you ask 99% of those people with their fanny packs, who the heck, they think Trotsky, they think some communist that raged against Moscow.
Some guy who's a communist who reads Karl Marx all day. So, he knows how to play to this crowd quite well. But I tell you.
I envy you guys. It's fun out there. Jonathan Martin, Nia Malika Henderson of the Post, John Martin, of course, of Politico.